DocuWare 5 has been developed with future requirements in mind. The following criteria have been considered in particular in the development of DocuWare 5. Administration. Simple and standardized administration for the entire system in order to reduce total cost of ownership. Scalability. The system can be scaled from a single workstation system on a notebook to a system spanning several sites. Security. Archived documents must be securely stored to prevent loss and unauthorized access. Integration capability. Interfaces for using existing IT infrastructures and other applications must be available. Migration capability. Short innovation cycles compared to long storage times in file cabinets. The architecture of the DocuWare system was specifically designed to provide a stable foundation, both for the current functionality and for future requirements. You can find further information in the System Architecture white paper. The architecture of the DocuWare system conforms to the modern multi-tier or layer model, which has evolved from the client-server principle. Its main characteristics are: features on the workstations are strongly dialogue-oriented. Application logic is located on one or more central DocuWare servers. Several applications share common resources on one or more central background servers. As in the classic client-server concept, the term server here refers to a software service, not to a piece of hardware. A DocuWare system therefore invariably consists of several software servers, all of which can, in extreme cases, run simultaneously on one hardware system. You will now receive an overview of the architecture components. Every DocuWare system requires infrastructure components comprised of a database system and a file storage system. A DocuWare system consists of the following software components: authentication server, content server, Windows client, DocuWare administration. Other components can also be added. In a standard DocuWare system, these are workflow server, web client server, imaging server, add-on modules for Windows client. Other components can also be added for special requirements. These can be developed directly by DocuWare or DocuWare partners. Examples of this include the SAP HTTP server for integration in an existing SAP system and connections to various digital copier systems. To be able to access the DocuWare servers, client programs are required which access the DocuWare servers. Windows client is universally applicable. It can be used to scan, index, archive, and display documents. Windows client can be expanded with further features using modules. Web client can be used to access documents in DocuWare file cabinets via an internet browser. DocuWare administration is used to configure the whole DocuWare system. It is also where settings are configured for servers, clients, modules, and users. In this section, you will learn about various DocuWare server modules and their features. Authentication server manages all users and resources within the entire system. Before you can use the system, you must always log on to Authentication server. Authentication server handles the following tasks: user login, license management, administration of user-specific settings, authentication of DocuWare server modules on the DocuWare system, management of other DocuWare server modules. A DocuWare system can have more than one authentication server, which access a common database. Clients and other servers gain access to storage systems and database information via Content Server. Thus, Content Server is responsible for providing standard access, central control, and logging of the file cabinet utilization. A DocuWare system can have more than one Content Server, which can manage the same or different file cabinets. Workflow Server in DocuWare is a separate server module which controls sub-processes that can be automated. It provides the various functionalities for automating steps and acts as the central control for these tasks, including their administration. Workflow Server is the central workflow engine for performing predefined workflows. On the server side, Web Client Server is the counterpart to the web client. Users can store, search, and view documents in file cabinets via an internet browser. Web Client Server creates the interface and communicates with Imaging Server to convert documents. Imaging Server converts documents to a graphics format for Web Client Server so that these can be displayed in the Web Client Viewer. This makes it possible to display the documents without a browser plugin. The functionality of the DocuWare system can be expanded by different modules. These modules make it possible to customize the system to suit any individual requirements. System requirements must be considered separately for the different components. The Windows client supports all Windows versions from Windows XP onwards. The web client can be run on any operating system with the latest versions of Internet Explorer from version 6 and Firefox from version 2. Some features for interacting with the operating system can, however, only be run on Windows systems. The servers of the DocuWare system are implemented on the basis of Microsoft's .NET architecture, but you do not need server versions of Windows for this. All Windows versions from Windows XP onwards are supported. A database and a file store are required as infrastructure components. DocuWare supplies a powerful MySQL database for this purpose. The file store can be found directly on Content Server. Both components can also be handled by dedicated, existing systems, which may also reside on non-Windows platforms. For the latest version of applicable system requirements, please see the technical reference. DocuWare systems are highly scalable, starting from single workstations up to enterprise-wide systems that can span several sites, accommodate thousands of users, and are distributed across several servers. DocuWare installations can be installed as standalone systems on a single computer, which then houses the whole range of modules, such as Authentication Server, Content Server, Workflow Server, a database server, and the associated client. The architecture and functionalities are essentially the same as in large-scale installations. However, the most frequent type of installation is a multi-user system within a local network. The performance of a described system architecture comes into its own when the system is fully exploited, because functionality can then be distributed across several servers, each configured to work optimally according to organizational, technical, and performance criteria. Archive systems are typically integrated in an existing IT environment. The challenge, therefore, is not just to ensure consistency, but also to optimize the interchange of data and documents with other systems without having to invest in complex and highly redundant administrative expenditure. DocuWare solves this problem by working with several servers and providing the appropriate interfaces, as well as by adhering to common standards. You can find more information on the subject of integration in the associated white paper.